This is Barry's Carp Bitter, probably one of the most, at least to me, the most successful carp patterns out there aside from the hybrid. This is tied by Barry Reynolds. It is probably one of my favorite carp patterns, and it actually birthed my Crazy Craw as well as the Sneak Leech. So let's get started tying it. I always like to debarb my hooks, no matter if it's trout, bass, carp, pike, whatever. Just makes me feel better about it. It's easier to take them out, and but to each their own. We're actually going to tie this one in olive. I really like olive from the standpoint that it really resembles the damselflies and even some dragonfly nymphs in the water. Makes really nice color. Just start out with some medium-sized beach chain eyes. Tie those in figure 8 style. Oops. And I'll leave a little bit of room in front, as you can see right there. Not much room, but just enough to get some dubbing behind, in front of the eye as you're doing some figure 8 wraps. Next, we're going to take some grizzly marabou and in olive, of course. 2 pieces, one on each side. Actually, I'll wet my fingers to make it a little bit easier to tie in. Repeat on the other side. Next, we're going to take some olive barred legs. Really, any style rubber legs will do. I like the barred look of these. I think they look really nice. Really complement the grizzly style hackle as well as the marabou. But of course, the fish aren't going to be studying these crazy legs. So I take one, fold it over, wrap it on each side. Next, we're going to take some Angora goat dubbing in olive. I like to wet my fingers when wrapping the dubbing around the thread. You can use dubbing wax. It does the same effect. About a 2 inch noodle is all you need. Just wrapping this forward and leave a little bit of room. Actually, that's okay. I like to leave a little bit of room just behind the eyes, but as you can see, I did not, which is okay. Next, we're going to take some grizzly soft hackle, also in olive. wrap that just behind the eyes. Get a good foundation. Wrap this around a few times. And just grab the excess here. We're going to capture that with our thread, tie it off. Careful not to poke yourself, as these Gamakatsu hooks are extremely sharp. Reach in with your scissors. Get that off. Makes a nice collar. And as you can tell, this is already looking very much like a damselfly. And finally, take a little bit more of this Angora goat dub. Wet your fingers again. Now this time we're actually going to make this noodle pretty thin. Not as thick as the body, because remember, we're going to be wrapping it around the eyes here. You don't want to have too thick of thread or it'll actually ruin it. So once or twice behind the eyes, and then do a couple figure 8 wraps. I like to flip it over and put one final wrap. Oh, looks like we need a tad bit more. Back off. Now we're just going to whip finish here. I like to do 2 whip finishes and 3 turns a piece. Really makes everything lock down. As far as the legs go, I'll trim about just past the tail here, about a hook gap in length, maybe a tad bit longer. Let's make it a little bit longer today. That looks pretty good. Now I like to brush the Angora goat dub out just a little bit. It's not terribly necessary, but it definitely makes the entire fly look far more buggy and really makes it look nice in the water. And that is Barry's Carp Bitter in Olive.